Is social media creating criminals? So recently there have been a lot of young people on the news who are committing like heinous crimes, right? A lot of them are right. So we're gonna get into whether or not social media is influencing these things. And to me, I don't think it is creating criminals. I think it is influencing some criminals because when you have a criminal mind, especially like in your youth, it's more than likely because your parents or your environment aren't teaching you that bad habits or bad reactions, negative reactions, parents are not teaching their kids that these subtle acts of violence are not acceptable. The more parents want to pretend like they don't know what their kids are doing, the more parents want to pretend that their kids aren't doing anything wrong when what they are doing is violent, then society will accept the behavior. And eventually it's going to be the new normal. Sparked my interest in this topic was not just the Mackenzie Shirilla documentary that just came out last month on Netflix, even though we know the crime was like 3 years old, but it's this new report about these two girls who are very young. They're 19 and 20, they're sisters, and they just killed I believe she was 32-year-old mother. Those sisters violently killed her, right? It was like three people, the two sisters and a friend against this one 32-year-old. And some of it was recorded, right? Some of you guys can still find some clippings online. They were recording the fight that these three girls against one were in. I'm not sure if they recorded the actual act of violence, but they knew they were being recorded by someone else who was either a friend of theirs or a neighbor that did not jump in and stop or de-escalate the situation. So the 32-year-old mother died. The reason that interested me was because the officer who was in charge of investigating the crime said it himself. He said there has been a rise in teenage or youth crimes, and he himself said that it could be due to social media. I think the words he said were just like, they are not connected to reality, and that's exactly what I'm seeing. That's the pattern that I'm seeing with a lot of these young people, not just committing crimes, but the lack of remorse. You know, that's a big one. Committing a crime is one thing. You know, when someone is like psychotic or borderline personality disorder, just has a lot of anger issues, that can be normal. Now, young people have always committed crimes. That's nothing new. But what we're seeing now is just the lack of accountability, the lack of acceptance that something actually even happened, and the lack of remorse, just the sure lack of remorse that a lot of these criminals, these young criminals have. Specific case with the two sisters and then the third friend going on the 32-year-old. In this specific case, the girl who gets arrested, I'm not sure if she's the younger or the older one, but they get arrested separately, took into separate cars. And just the reaction that they have just shows you that we're in a different time, you know, that this is not what was normal back in the day. And who knows, because maybe there wasn't as many cameras to capture these moments, but what they call this, it's called the It's a perp walk, right? So it's a perp walk, they call it. So the investigator in this crime says it himself, that perp walks are very important. They will tell a lot before they even get to question the suspect. And I found that really interesting, but it makes so much sense. You know, like, this person committed a crime, right? Allegedly. Now let's see how they react to being caught up in the crime, right? Or actually being held accountable. How are they going to react to it? Because that can tell you a lot about a person's mindset, right? So in this specific case, the younger sister was being walked to the vehicle as she was arrested, and she just says cracks a joke, a very insensitive joke to the cameraman, and it's not even a joke. What she tells the cameraman is like, why are you even recording? Or just something, you know? She's aware that someone is recording her, and that makes her feel a certain way, to the point where she has to say something and then giggle and laugh about it, like if she didn't just kill somebody, right? Like she didn't just destroy a whole family. Studies show that receptors in the amygdala are actually being dimmed just so that the person can emotionally survive. So when a person commits a heinous crime and they don't want to accept or take accountability, it's more than likely because their amygdala is desensitizing them to the actual crime so that they don't fall apart. This person probably doesn't want to be flooded with the actual emotions of what they have caused. Remorse requires realness. So if you are not connected to reality or what your actions have just done, what they have caused another person or family or group, community, whatever, if you're not aware or connected to this reality, how can you show remorse? How can you feel bad? You have not only numbed yourself to it, but you have blocked it off completely. More younger people are doing this. It's not like the media desensitized them and now they're doing this, because this has always been happening. You know, we've been saying this before COVID even hit, that the media desensitizes people. But what we're seeing now is that social media is actually influencing criminals. It's not just making the average person desensitized, because the environment and the parents play a big role in that, but social media is now influencing people to act a certain way, to act in a way where they're always being filmed, they're always on camera, or that maybe one day they will hit the jackpot by becoming famous. Social media has created a realm, a society where you get paid to perform, right? And young people who get on social media and become a part of the creator circle know that performance pays. One thing that people chase that is not money or financial is power, right? It is like the biggest thing that people chase or sought after or even just fantasize about having. So when you know that power is in social media influencing, or that social media influencing actually creates more power, then when a teenager understands this, right, or a young adult understands this, everything that they do now can be monetized. So I'm not saying that these sisters, specifically in this case, killed this girl to become famous, right? Like some people believe that Mackenzie Shirella did the same thing. It's more so that now, every moment, every second that they have in their real life can become content, can become monetized. Their own self, their own brand, their own name can experience a lot of success when people are just watching. You know, attention creates success in some of these people's mind. So just like we would say back in the day, bad publicity is good publicity, right? There's no such thing as bad or good publicity. A lot of these youth are now seeing it as, if I'm getting attention, then I'm earning success. The more attention that I can get, the more success that I can experience. So when a young person now knows that in society, performance pays, now they start to think, okay, well, if my life isn't acceptable for social media standards, then I will make it. In other words, they're weighing out whether they should perform and get paid, or whether they should be stuck in their own reality that doesn't pay them anything. And quite honestly, they make no money from just having an average life. So there is kind of a desperation for these young people to outlive reality. What they don't know is their environment today, what they have today, what they were born with, and what they are involved in is enough to make something of yourself. So nobody is teaching these kids, these teenagers, these young people or young adults, that what you have right now in around you, even in your mind, is way more valuable than you think. You just have to use these tools, use the motivation that you can find around you to make something of yourself. Sadly, social media and social media standards is teaching them that their life has nothing to offer. There's nothing valuable in their life right now. You guys have noticed, right, that all of a sudden people want to have like the latest, shiniest, newest things because they're constantly filming their reality, right? I do see people around me that like will post every single moment that they go through in their life. And in order for you to get attention, to get likes, to get people interested in what you're recording, people have caught on that image, and beauty has a lot to do with it. So if a young person doesn't feel like their life is beautiful, they will not go out and look for ways to make it beautiful or find the beauty in their life. No, now they're creating it. Now they're gonna monetize it. Now they're going to monetize themselves. And this has shown in the youth as being very deteriorating. It can destroy the family structure. It itself will destroy their own self-worth. Like Mackenzie Shirella have gone out and sold parts of their body online because weird and creepy men are actually able to do this without getting caught. And so now these girls are saying, hey, I can sell feet pictures for money. What other kind of pictures can I sell for money? And is the money gonna be bigger? So, I mean, come on now. There was no such thing as OnlyFans back in the day. And now we're seeing these women get so much attention, so much money, right? Because their performance is paying, and just having a life that a lot of young people see as successful. The real question isn't, is social media creating criminals? But the question is, what makes these criminals so numb? Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you got a little bit of insight, and I hope that just in general what was said will create some kind of shift in your life. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.